to Confidence with Katheleen, hosted by me, Katheleen Diggle.
Hello everyone. Today I'm with Tricia Aldridge. I'm better than before to say your name. So I ask you to make that interview with me because I want to know, we saw you win a lot of things, and it went pretty well, and with your horses, everything at the BFA. But before that too, and I know you enough, I know how you work. So I would like you to maybe at the start talk about all your team that you have. And it's something that you post that you said that it's very important because I don't think where you are now, you can probably do it alone, but when you have a team around you, it's a big part of your success. So can you just talk about your team?
I think that there is no doing this without having a team. So I have a really great vet, Dr. Don Lee. We have really great shoers, CJ and Cutter Holloway. And so, just starting from that aspect and making sure that my horses are feeling 100%. And then I also have a lot of people in my corner like you. We have a girl that helps us with the AccuScope. We have Kim Gillespie is chiropractic. And then, even down to all the tack. So I make sure all my tack is fitting good. I have people that help me with that, and saddles and saddle pad and gear, and just, there's so much that comes into that when it all comes together. And
can we say, when I came here too about Adios, what you asked me, we need to put his saddle pad, the pad, to make sure that he loves it. So for you, it's very important to feel that.
Yes, and that was a big one, trying to make kind of last minute decisions on which saddle to go with. So it's no secret, he's been pretty hard for me to fit. He's huge, and so big shoulders, really flat back, and so we've had a lot of trouble just getting that perfect combination. And so we ended up going with the Robbie Phillips saddle, but then we ended up changing to that 3S pad I think I ended up with a 3/4 inch thickness, and so just getting it all comfortable,
For him, yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, you did it for him, but you are like that with
all horses, yes.
All your horses,
making sure,
too.
And I'm pretty big too coming into the runs. Once I have what I think works for that horse, I want to make sure that I try not to change anything, because I feel like consistency is more important than even just your speed. And so the goal is to be able to be fast, but to be able to replicate it. And I feel really good about my two horses this week because I was able to make 6 runs and they were all consistent every time. And so I feel like it really come together at BFA just because they all stayed so consistent, and that consistency is how I got ahead this week,
Yeah, and I'm feeling that's a part of your program too. We were saying about consistency, what are you doing to prepare your horse to a big event like that? Or even if it's not a big event, what is your regular schedule and things like that?
So I'm really big on letting my horses be horses. So we're here at my place, and I have this barn. I have another barn too in Sanger, and I really think it's important for them to have turnout. When I built this barn, I made sure that the stalls were oversized. They have stall mattresses. I really want them to be able to have both comfort in the barn and then be able to be out and be playful. And I think that a lot of people overlook that part of it. And I know that we're riding expensive horses, and it's hard because I own Sway. So Sway literally tries to kill herself nonstop. So I get that it is hard, but Sway's standing out there in the field too, So I think that they, first and foremost, is just mentally keeping them happy. I feel like that they're better when they're out too, because they're able to burn off some of that extra energy. And I feel like that's also going to help me in my training and making sure that those horses are not, where I'm not just having to wear them out just to get anything done. And so I think really just focusing on them being happy, being turned out. I also I joke about this on my page a lot, but I'm like, I don't really believe in like riding them for hours. You know, I mean, if I have one that needs it sometimes, occasionally they do, you know, fine. But I'm like, I get on, we do what we're there to work on, and then I get off. You know, I always joke, like, if they do it right, why do I need to keep going?
Keep going,
you know?
yeah.
And I think it's important to balance like fitness and training so that you're not, I just really want their mind to be in the right place, I guess.
That they don't get tired of working
Yeah.
when they don't like it. There's some that they like it,
Yeah.
they need it too, but yeah.
Absolutely.
And another thing too, that in your daily, so you work like that, but I know that you take care of their stomach and everything like that.
So you're gonna laugh, but especially coming into this show, okay? So Lazy E is a really tough pin for me, and I was really over the top with absolutely everything. So they're all on Succeed anyway right now, but I started my GastroGuard probably like a week in advance. And then I make sure to keep it on them ahead of time, because remember, like, they don't know what's coming, but you know what's coming.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that I have all that covered. As soon as I got to Lazy E, I sprayed my stalls, probably the neighbor's stalls, the fronts, the backs, everything with chlorhexidine, and just made sure that, you know, I'm keeping that disinfected. I have a lot of big stuff coming up, and so that's something so simple that can just help, you know, make sure that my horses aren't getting sick. You know, I had well over 20 bags of shavings in their stalls. They were pretty much up to their knees in shavings. And then I also made sure, like, I had those open stall gates for them, and I was super proud of the stud because he also had one all week. And so, and just little things. I had a hot wire that I used. It was just all I had in my trailer, but around there so that like nobody could go right in front of their stalls and stuff. And I know some people are goofy about you blocking off aisles and stuff, but you have to remember, like, I'm there for my horse. Like, it's important that they're rested, that they're comfortable, that people aren't annoying them, all that kind of stuff. And so, like, that's my sole purpose. And if somebody wants to be mad at me because I have to walk 20 more feet, you know, whatever. So I think just like same thing, making sure that they're comfortable, that they're resting. You know, we use a lot of different products too, like the Back on Track blankets and the magnetic blankets, and just, you know, boots, and just whatever to just help them be the most relaxed all week. You know, we made sure that they were hand walking. Andrea told me that Adios was in the spa 10 times. So, but just keeping him in there, same thing, just making sure that they're fresh, they're comfortable, you know, and then being able to trust your training to know, especially if you saw the video of Adios before the slot race, but to know, like, even when he feels that good, that he's going to come in there and do what needs to be done.
Yeah, and he's in good shape, and you take care of everything. Stomach, he can sleep, he can do everything, and another things too that, you know, like not this time, but a little bit a few months ago, you talk about Lasix. So do you still, like with your 3 or 4 years, your 3 years old when you start that, do you run them on Lasix?
So I know this is a super controversial thing, and this is just what works best for me and my vet.
No, but again, we are ask your vet, do things like that, but why I'm asking, I want to have your point of view. You win different things, you are there, so what are you doing?
So every competitive run, for sure, everything I have is on Lasix. And so this starts before I get to the juvenile. You know, for my juvenile horses, they've been on it for a couple months now, anytime that I know I'm going to send them through. And I just feel like, especially when you're competing at that level, you know, Adios has got all the light this week, but like I spent over $7,500 for him to run this week. And so there needs to be absolutely no reason for him to not go in there and want to work, you know. And so I think that that's just such a cheap, easy thing. And then I actually have the Aminos, so the Red Hot Equine Aminos. So I had those formulated for me using Lasix. So I took out all the added dyes, preservatives, everything that didn't need to be in there, and it's just going to be your aminos, which are also so good for the muscle stuff.
And
electrolytes.
The electrolyte,
and then a little bit of stomach care to just help kind of smooth everything over. So that's been really helpful, I think, too, just to know, like, you're just covering all your bases preventatively. I feel like so many people want to wait until you have a problem, and then you're really chasing problems, you know, and then those horses tend to get a lot of really bad habits that could have very easily been prevented with a little bit of foresight.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, when I'm talking with a horse that already bled, you know, I always try to explain it that way. Like, so it's like if you are in water and you inhale and you swallow some water and you got stuck and it burns your lung.
Yeah.
So it's that way, and I see a lot of horses that, you know, in barrel that start not want to go in the alleyway, or at the second barrel. Very often they don't have hair anymore, so they drop, you know.
Yeah.
They want to go back because it's like if
I
they
can't even imagine.
So for me, you know, I'm feeling it's really like, it's one thing, it's not all the horses that they bleed, you know. I agree with that, and you are doing it very in advance, and that's your point of view, that's fine too. But I'm feeling there's so many horses sometimes that they bled. We say bled or bleed? Bled. Yeah. They bled, whatever. They bleed. I'm always problem with that. So I have, is it okay too? So I have so many horses that I felt that they bleed, that it create, you know, stress or things like that. So that's why I want to ask about your point of view and how you.
And I think too, it's a lot of the old school way. So like, luckily I am in North Texas where we have, I mean, you could throw a rock and hit 10 good vets, you know. So I'm very fortunate to be in this area, but I realize a lot of people aren't. And I always joke that when you leave Texas, veterinary medicine goes back 10 years because it's just so behind. There's so much money driving it here. So there's a lot more like innovative stuff.
Yeah.
But I just think that, you know, especially like with those, or like, you know, my colt again this week, I was really proud of him, but he got easier as the week went. So like the first run, he was super excited because he didn't know why we were all excited. And then the next run, he was like really good. He stayed really solid. But by the next run, the third run on a 3-year-old, he was just like, okay, this is my job. Like, it just easy, calm.
Because he was feeling good
he
too.
He felt good. It wasn't stressful for him. He was excited to go in there and work. Like, I really was proud of him. But the behind the scenes of all that is like me making sure like 110% that there was no reason he didn't want to.
And for hoping that he will love his job for a long time. You know, you need to start it well.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a little bit different when you ride a 3 or 4 years old than an open horse too.
For sure.
So it's a little bit different too, but that's how you start it and start them, and that's works for you.
Well, and I think too, like, as much as you go in there like for a slot race and ask them for everything, you know, one thing that I was really proud of myself for is like, I don't feel like I overrode him. Like, I went in there and just made my pass. And that's the most exciting part of it, is that like he did so well this week and I never asked him for nothing. Like, there's still so much more out there on the table for him. Like, I could see little spots where I could tighten up my barrels, or like where he's just going to level out as he gets better. And I think that like knowing your horse, you know, because we had other colts there too that did really well, but they weren't ready to be that fast yet. And so it's important for me as their trainer to make sure that like they're going where they need to be to set them up for success, because I feel like what people don't often realize is that the futurity year is going to be the shortest part of their life.
Yeah.
You know, this is 1 year. You know, I hope that colt is running for 15 more. And so it's just so important to keep building confidence in them and just make sure that they're happy, that they want to do it. And I feel like so many problems stem from simple things: ulcer meds, Lasix, anxiety through training. Like, you can head off so many other problems by just paying attention and with a little bit of preventative care.
Okay, so we talk about the horses, all your team and everything. Now you.
Yes.
Okay, now you, because you are part of that too. What are you doing for you, you know, to because I think it's a lot of pressure on all the trainer. When you are a trainer, you're doing it for a living and everything, you know. You have bills to pay, you have hay to buy and things like that.
Yeah.
So how do you get there, because we can see, if we see you on your social media and everything, you look confident or everything, but what is the real you? Do you get there? Were you all the time like that, or
definitely
no?
not.
Okay, so you see, what is your process, and what do you do to prepare yourself to go to a big race like that?
So I think, just like everybody, I mean, there was definitely a time where I let a lot of things people say get to me, or I let people kind of drive down my confidence. And I think it's hard also because, so I think I'm starting to get more recognition as a trainer, but I still do it different than everyone else. Like, I don't have 20 horses of client horses. Like, I mostly own my own. I wanted to kind of reinvent the wheel a little bit, which works great for me, but it makes me a little bit weird. And then I also am like kind of the in-between from professionals to, I do talk to a lot of beginners. I try to like bridge the gap a little bit. And I think like having all them and followers and stuff has really given me a lot of insight to how other people see things. But the biggest thing I can say is that you train your brain. So you can train your brain to see the good, or you can see your brain to see the bad. And I just think that, a lot of people that maybe haven't followed me for a long time or anything like that, they always think like, you just have all this money. Like, they look at the barn or they look at my horses and they just think, and I'm like, I'm here to tell you, like, I started at the very bottom. Like, I rode auction horses. My first real barrel horse was an Arabian. Like, it wasn't even anything, okay? And so, like, my first like real barrel horse, I paid $4,500 for. It took me like 9 months to pay her off. So I literally have just tried to learn everything I can. And I think that like that's important, is to not have the mindset where like, oh, poor me, I can never do that. I can never afford that horse, and that's why I'm so proud of this colt. Like, I've waited my whole life for a horse like that, and I was like, it's so cool to have him here. And if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would own a beautiful Palomino stallion, I would be like, there's no way I could afford him.
I cannot be.
And so I think just, being smart about that, and just really, anytime that you feel your brain going in a negative direction, I always say redirect. We say that with the dogs all the time in the training. Redirect. Like, do something different. Focus on something different. Like, don't allow your mind to think about all those bad things, and then as I've gotten older, and now especially, you hear so many bad things everybody has something to say, but you also learn that that's a reflection of that person. Like, that is not what you think of yourself. And so I think it's important to like train your brain, to really take that mindset to heart. I listen to podcasts. I love motivational quotes and stuff, and I really try to like listen to a lot of sports psychology stuff. And I think that eventually that gets you to where you need to be. And I'm not saying I'm never nervous, because I definitely I definitely could get nervous sometimes. And I just think that you learn to be very well prepared. So like, Lazy E has been such a hard arena for me, and on multiple horses, and I've done good there, but I've never done great there. And I think that, coming in this time, especially, like, I had confidence that I was prepared. And so I was prepared. I never skipped a day of riding. I didn't skip any ulcer meds. I didn't skip any feeding. Just all those little things. I never skipped anything. I knew when it was cold and raining, I was here riding. And so I think that having that, coming into that, and knowing my horses,
making the choice, making the effort to
every time,
even if it's raining, it sucked, but I'm making the choice to go there and do it.
Yes.
And so that you can be proud of you, and that build you confident in the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I always say, people are going to make time for what's important to them. So if that's important to you, you're going to make time to do it.
Yeah. and you make the choice and make the action,
and it's not fun.
It's not fun all the time. It's not.
And I think that part is a lot overlooked too with barrel racing, because so like realistically, this sport is not that fun. So like, if you really look at it, like, I mean, cleaning stalls. My horses all try to kill themselves all the time. Like, you know, they're always into something or into trouble. Like, you so much time riding. There's a lot of not fun that goes into...
And even your physical pain, because when you ride a lot, you create, you know,
Absolutely. And so I think that, like, you know, it's that competitive nature that drives us. And also, like, you're doing all this work for that small part of it, but just to, like... remember that the majority of the sport is mental. You know, when you go to somewhere like BFA or Pink Buckle or any of those, like, we're all riding good caliber horses. And so what really sets apart those top riders, it's going to be the mental side of it, you know, and that those horses a lot of times, you know, like especially a 3-year-old, they're really looking to you to know that this is okay, that this is good, that, you know, they feel so much. And I think that that's really overlooked for those colts. And I get it, because I mean, when Adios is hopping around the warm-up pen, I was like, I picked an O-ring. but you know, it is scary, but the same thing, it's like when you make it that far, I was like, okay, I'm in the warm-up pen and I'm like, I did everything. I did everything. I made every choice. I did the best I could. It's going to go how it's going to go.
And now enjoy.
Now it's just time to go.
People that I think sometime when I'm talking with the horse, you know, sometime the horse said, I'm going there and she's so stressed and it's not fun and she's so tight and so now it's time to go there and just enjoy. Because
and something so simple, so I always try to make it a point to smile when I'm warming up, because I feel like sometimes riders forget to just smile. Like, remember that, like, you're doing something that so many people wish that they could. And like, you know, my colt, I'm like, I've had him since he was 5 months old, and I'm like, this is all the fruits of our labor coming up. And I'm like, sometimes you just have to smile and
smile
like,
and enjoy the moment.
We made it. Yes. We made it before we even run. We made it here, you know. And I think that a lot of people just forget to, like, enjoy that small moment of, like, these horses are doing this for us, you know.
It's crazy, but it's between 16 and something second, and you work for 3 years for just that moment. So why not enjoy it?
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. And I can tell you, when I come out of the pen this time, I was just like, oh, okay,
it's done.
We did it. He didn't bug me off in public. And this one was you know, like, I've been in other slot races and done well, but like this one was especially nervous, like knowing so many people were just waiting for him. And so on a stallion that we had put out so much publicity on, I mean, we have done a really strong marketing campaign, and I'm so thankful to him. And I think that that's important too. Like, I'm so thankful to my horses, because I feel like that we don't always give them that credit, but like, I come out and I'm so thankful to them. And sometimes it's hard because I feel like I'm a little bit misunderstood when, you know, like, I'm sad that he tripped in the first round, because I'm like, he could have won. But I feel like, though, people are like, oh, well, you did good, but like, they're sad, like I'm being rude. And I'm like, it's not like that. My horse put in all this time, all this work. He tried his heart out. He is the champion. He deserves to win. And when I had Sway, and it was the same thing, it wasn't ever about me winning. I think the horses deserve the recognition. They deserve to be on the front page. They deserve everybody loving them. They deserve that, not me. My horse is going to be great. I know he loves me, but like, I think he could have been great with a lot of people.
Because you have a lot of peppermint.
Yeah. After the slot race, though, he had so many people giving peppermints. He was just like, okay,
I'm done.
I think this is enough, guys. But I think that the horses I wish that everyone was grateful to the horses, because I feel like, you know, as a trainer too, most of my career has been getting horses from other trainers and fixing them. And so I feel like a lot of times if you just will slow down for a second and just focus on what that particular horse needs, they all want to do it for you.
Needs are the way that they do it, their personality too, the playful,
and they're totally different.
They are.
So Sway was really fun because I swear, I could have fell off in the alley and Sway was going to win the barrel race anyway.
Yeah.
So Sway is like, hold on, and almost like my mentality riding her was always like, oh, you're the baddest, like you're the best, show them you're the best, so tough, like, cause Sway is just so tough. And on Adios too, when we went in this week, I was like, you're a champion, show him you're a champion, cause he's kind of gritty like that. But I've had other ones and even Puma, it's like, you got this, it's just a different type of hyping them up, and then I joke about the Pritzy mare because I'm like, you can do it, and I'm like, but they all have a different way about them. Some of them really feed off of you showing them, that pushing, and then some of them you got to kind of hype them up, encourage them more, and I think that sometimes that part also gets left, with the riders, on focusing what makes that particular horse tick. And I'm really fortunate because the way that I learned, and it's the same thing, I've never been able to afford nice horses, and so this is just, you just better figure it out, this is what you got. And so I think that taught me though a lot of that behind the scenes of how to make that horse work as an individual, and really focusing on the mental side for them. And I feel like that's really overlooked. They're not, I always joke on, I get comments all the time, but I'm like, they're not robots.
No, they are not.
And you can't just cookie cut them the same. I mean, every single horse I have, even when they're similar, right now, the set of colts for next year are very similar, but they're all very different. So I think that's something to really focus on.
Listen on your horse. Listen to your horse. So
sure.
That's a big thing, and take care of everything. So Tricia, if we want to look at your page or find you, where can we go?
So on Facebook is Red Hot Barrel Horses, and that's probably going to be the most popular spot. You can follow Adios on Facebook as well, Adios Pantalones Stallion. Mm-hmm. And on TikTok, you can search Red Hot Barrel Horses or Red Hot Running Horses, and you will find us there as well, causing all kinds of drama.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much. It was very fun.
Absolutely.
And thank you. Good luck for the rest too.
Oh, we got this.
Yeah, we got this. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Please make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe on all my social media, and don't forget to leave me a review. If you want to learn more about me, visit my website, horseconfidence.com with a K, where you can also order my book.